July 1991. It is the summertime. I'm still working at a nursery, still dating one of my coworkers. We hadn't gotten to the only stupid people read part of our relationship yet, so she and I were still going strong. Little coincidence here. One of my other coworkers at the nursery had a younger brother who just happened to be one of my classmates at Bowling Green. Small world, I guess, although we're all in Ohio. But that coincidence is going to come around again in a few videos. But anyway, not many books in July, only 4, probably because I was dating. And working my ass off trying to make money to go back to Bowling Green. That's not going to pan out. But let's get to the 4 books that I read in July of 1991, and we're starting off with another Max Allan Collins. If you watched the last video, there were, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 4 books by Max Allan Collins and a book edited by Max Allan Collins. And we've got 2 this month. So number 1, Stolen Away by Max Allan Collins. This is another Nathan Heller book. Max's private detective trying to solve real-world mysteries. And this one deals with the Lindbergh baby. More importantly, the kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby. And the thing I remember most about this is that Nathan Heller has to deal with Al Capone, who's in prison, but he claims to be orchestrating the kidnapping from inside the prison. The theory is that he would use this as leverage to get himself, out of prison, in a better prison, whatever. But it's a good book. It's good Nathan Heller stuff. I liked it. When I was looking these things up to do this video, I was thinking I may have to pick up the Nathan Heller books again and reread them if I ever have the chance, because they're good, and there's like 17 or 18 of them, and I haven't read all of them yet. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The next book is Pastime, only 1 T, by Robert B. Parker. This is a Spencer book, and it sees the return of Paul Giacomin, however you say his name. So my favorite Spencer book is Early Autumn, where Spencer basically takes this 15-year-old kid, Paul Giacomin, under his wing because his parents are shitty. It's my favorite of the Spencer books. Well, now Paul's back. It's 10 years later. He's a young man, finding his identity, a much better person than he was in the first book, because he was a shitty little kid. But he comes to Spencer because his mother is missing, and he wants Spencer to find her. And so we get an update on what's been going on with this character, Paul Giacomin, who shows up again a few more times, I believe. It's good. It's Spencer. I don't think it's as good as the first one with Paul Giacomin, but again, that one's my favorite. Next up, we have True Detective by Max Allan Collins. This is actually the first Nathan Heller book. I don't know why I apparently read them out of order. So in this one, Nathan Heller is the youngest plainclothes detective on the Chicago PD. He's working in the pickpocket division, and it's 1932, and he is tapped to take part on this raid against Frank Nitti, who basically took over the Chicago mob from Al Capone, I believe. And this raid may or may not have been actually supposed to be a hit on Frank Nitti. The mayor of Chicago has declared war on the mafia, and Nathan Heller is sort of caught in the middle. And he's actually a cop in this one. Excuse me. I don't remember much about this one, except that I loved it. And I think there's a rooftop scene with Frank Nitti unless I'm thinking of a movie. But anyway, that has Frank Nitti in it. True Detective, the first Nathan Heller book, Max Allan Collins. This is good stuff. It's a great series. The ones that I read are great. Like I said, there's some I haven't read yet. And then finally, the last book that I read in July of 1991 is, I don't have Doc Savage written down, but it is a Doc Savage book. I just have written down Escape from Loki. This is by Philip Jose Farmer, and it's a Doc Savage prequel. And it tells the story of Doc Savage during World War I and how he met his 5 companions. And I had to look this one up. I knew it was a prequel. I remembered that much. I knew it was about him meeting his 5 friends. But apparently he just keeps getting captured by the Germans and escaping and captured and escaping and captured and escaping until I guess Loki is like the ultimate German prison. But of course they're going to escape. The thing I remember the most is that I am just not a fan of Philip Jose Farmer. His writing, it just has never grabbed me. Actually, I don't know that I've read anything of his besides this and his biography of Doc Savage, because neither of those, as interesting as they are, neither of those grabbed me enough for me to want to read any of his other stuff. He's got, I believe, the Riverworld series. Well, I guess technically I read is it Venus on the Half Shell? That's the Kilgore Trout book, but was written by Philip Jose Farmer. Yeah, not a fan of his style. Never bothered, I don't believe, to read any of his other stuff. But this is, for a Doc Savage fan, it's kind of a must-read, I suppose, if you're a completist. If I ever find a copy, I don't have one now, or I'd be showing it to you, but if I find a copy again, I'll get it at a reasonable price just to have it as part of my collection. I might even go so far as to reread it if someday I've finished everything else that I have. But other than that, it wasn't great. Excuse me. So that's it. 4 books, 2 by Max Allan Collins. Yeah, mysteries and a pulp. So, not much. But, I was living life. The question for this video would be, how do I put this? What true crime, let's say what unsolved true crime, would you want to read a book about? And considering what Max Allan Collins does, would you like to have that book have the most logical solution to the unsolved crime? Did I say unsolved part? I know I said true crime. But as I said in the last video, like Butcher's Dozen, Elliot Ness, after the Torso Killer was never caught. But in the book, Max Allan Collins has what he believes to be the most reasonable solution in the book. And he does that, I think, in all of these sort of true crime books. So, hopefully that question was clear. Yeah, I think I said, what unsolved crime do you want to read a novel about where the crime is solved in the most realistic way possible? And by that, I don't mean the author just completely makes it up. I mean, the author has done their research, and based on all of the facts, this is the most reasonable solution. Does that make sense? Again, hopefully I'm making sense. That's my question. Hopefully you can answer it. See, the one that I would pick, we've already had a book on, which is The Torso Killer, since that's close to home, and it involves Elliot Ness, which is cool. Excuse me. Plus, I'm not a huge true crime kind of guy. I don't know a vast number of unsolved crimes. mean, Jack the Ripper comes to mind, of course. But Torso, and I've read, of course, the Max Allan Collins. I've read a nonfiction book about the Torso Killer. That'll be coming up at some point. I know that there's a book. I don't remember the name of it. I don't think I have read it. We'll find out together, I suppose. There is a book about the Torso Killer, completely fiction, because it's a horror novel. Like, it goes into the supernatural. It might even be that the Torso Killer's a vampire or something like that. But anyway, that's my sort of cheaty answer, since there's already a book that does this. But anyway, you can leave your answers, if you have any, in the comments below. That being said, if you have any comments, questions, corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K. ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got for you this time. So until next time, read more books.